In this video, I'm going to make some deli style pepperoni, the slicing kind that you put on a pizza or on a party tray. Anyway, let's get started. Normally I'd use ground beef for this, but I got a whole pile of ground moose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an 80-20 mixture of moose to pork, ground pork. I have this coarse ground already. I'm going to run it through again through a fine grinder. So instead of boring you by listing off all the ingredients in here, I'm going to give you the recipe for 10 pounds of meat, and then you can do the math and make it work for whatever amount of sausage you want to make. So just get it all mixed up properly here, and then mix it into the meat. Okay, let's get this in here. Okay, so I like to take the meat, around meat, and it's going to be sausage, and make sure I get all the spices out of it. So the bowl's clean, like that. Okay, next we start mixing. So I decided to only do 2.5 pounds, but here with that 10-pound recipe I'm going to give you, you can do 10, 20, 100, 5, whatever. Right. This is going to be medium heat. You can adjust your peppers, like red pepper flakes and your cayenne pepper, to your own taste. You can make it hotter or milder, your choice. I'll put that in the recipe as well. Okay, that didn't take long. See. Okay, so when it sticks like that, you got it mixed properly, or it didn't take very long. Mine is only 2.5 pounds. I will put it back in the fridge until I get my sausage chopper ready. You always want to keep your meat as cold as you can. About these fibrous casings I'm using, the package said that they would hold 1.75 pounds of sausage. Well, it turns out when I made salami, I got a whole 3 pounds into one casing. Now, the only thing is, these are too long for my smoker. And so what I did is I tied one end off and I cut these in half. Now they need to be soaked for at least an hour in lukewarm water, like 80 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. You see how I got my fingers tightly wrapped around the tube? There's two reasons for that. One is I want to keep the ground meat from backing up over top the tube. The second is I want that casing as tight as I can possibly get it. These are fibrous casings, you can't break them, or you shouldn't be able to. And tight casings helps prevent the wrinkling that you get from the smoking process. So I want to squeeze as much water out of the interior of that casing as I can get. For obviously it's you don't want the water in there. And matter of fact, too much water is another cause of wrinkled casings. So you put too much water in your mix, you can have too much water in the casings. Either way, you can get wrinkling from that as well. I want my casings to look as good as I can get them. Now I'm going to put this in the fridge overnight to let it cure and the spices all blend together into the meat better, and I'll smoke it tomorrow. So if I wanted to smoke today, then I need to use a cure accelerator like the sodium erythorbate. I think that's how it's pronounced. But I prefer to put it in the fridge anyway, because it not only does the cure seem to work better, but I get the flavors to meld into the sausage some more before I start smoking. Okay, I got the sausage in here. I'm going to vent wide open. I'm going to turn it on. Oops. At 130. Once it reaches 130, run it for about an hour till the casing's dry. Okay, yep, it's dry enough that I'm going to raise the temperature to 150 and I'll get my smoke going. Okay, let's get the smoke going. Old Amazing Smoker AMZ. It works pretty damn good. Because at these low temperatures, my smokehouse won't get smoke going the normal way. Okay, so this has been running for over 2 hours, smoking pretty good at 150. I'm going to turn the temperature up to 165 because I want to end up with a 152 degree internal temperature. Right, I hit 152, so I'm dropping it in ice water. I'm going to leave it there for 20 minutes. Usually I only go 10 minutes with normal sausage, but this is thicker. It's 55 millimeters, so I'll give more time, make sure it stops cooking. Alright, I got them out of the water. Dry them down a little bit with a paper towel. And I'm just going to leave them sit to dry. After that, they're going to go in the fridge at least overnight. Ideally a couple of days. Just let all the flavors meld together. Alright, that's how I make pepperoni. You can, as I said, the heat level is kind of a medium heat. It's not real hot, but your kids might not like it, so you can adjust your heat by, adjusting the amount of red pepper flakes and cayenne pepper. Cut it in half for milder. You can add even more for hotter. I kind of like it the way it is myself. But anyway, I hope you'll like this video and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, goodbye.